No matter how good of an Apex player we become, we can always be better. Having the ability to see your areas of weaknesses and just working hard on fixing those issues is the best way to elevate your game. What's going on, guys? This is your motivation guy, Keith Allen, and by the end of this video, you're going to be able to break down your game into manageable pieces that you can focus on. With so many aspects of the game, it can be so hard to really pin down your areas of improvement. But don't worry, my friends, because we got that all covered for you today. You guys ready for this? Let's get this going. Why you don't always feel like you're improving. Alright, so first of all, we've got to talk about why it feels like sometimes games just stop going our way, and why it's really hard to just get to that next rank. While the actual in-game reasons why you lose a match will vary every game, what doesn't change too often, guys, it's your mindset toward the game. It can be easy to get lost in your play sessions, insta-queuing every time you die early in a match, never really taking time to process how you are losing your games. Apex has a ton going on, and you can get sent back to the lobby for a ton of different reasons. But the hard truth here is that you could have played better. Look, I get it. Sometimes you have bad luck, but the bottom line is anytime we don't take home the victory, we could have done something better. Instead of lingering on your teammate who went AFK or, the poor loadout that you had off spawn, you should focus on all the minute details that could have made the difference and really just put you on top. And so from how well you drop to how good you are in a gunfight and everything in between, we all have weaknesses that cost us wins. While we all have varying levels of improvement needed in each area, we're gonna go over the most important aspects of improvement that are costing you your games. It's up to you to identify which of these weaknesses you need to work on and implement everything that we discuss here today. Don't worry, guys, it's a lot simpler than it sounds. You guys ready for this? Let's get into it. Starting off with the big one, your game knowledge is at the core of everything you're gonna do in-game. From knowledge of the map, to knowing the strength of weapons, how much HP and shield enemies have with different evos, every decision you make in-game is going to be guided by how much knowledge you have. And so at the fundamental level, this applies to all basics of the game. But this mindset extends to the current meta of the game as well. For example, knowing the weapons changes here in Season 10, knowing Seer's Kit, and understanding the new changes to World's Edge. It's all information that can help you succeed in-game. And having an early understanding about the new things or changes to the game, it's going to have you one step ahead after every patch. Knowing what legends are strongest and why will help you choose a good legend, but more importantly, help you play against all the legends. Knowing what weapons are strong, from what ranges they are strong, and what weaknesses they have will help you build more effective loadouts and take fights that your loadout will excel in. These are just a couple of examples, but the point here is that knowledge is power. And if you don't fully understand everything at a fundamental level, your game is going to suffer. I'm not saying that you have to know the exact RPM of a gun, but you should at least know its comparative strength to other weapons in the game and what its key weaknesses are. And so this mindset, guys, should be applied to everything in-game. So having the proper knowledge is going to set us up for success as we dive deeper into improving our gameplay. So speaking of diving deep into your gameplay, okay, so if you're having a hard time dissecting your game, or you just want someone to help you get off to a good start, the coaches over at ProGuides.com got you covered. They are Apex players just like you, who have implemented the things that we're talking about today to become some of the best players in the world, and they're ready to help you level up your game. Okay, so link is gonna be in the description. Are you guys feeling confident about your game knowledge? Good. All right, let's talk about something a bit more engaging, gunfights. There is nothing quite like peeking out of cover and just one clipping someone. But there's a lot more that goes into these plays than first meets the eye. And so from the knowledge gained in-game about an enemy's location, to finding an angle for a good peek, to actually hitting your shots, winning gunfights really is a mind game. Your ability to win fights is a culmination of all your knowledge and mechanics coming together, and it's important to be able to pinpoint where your weaknesses lie. Are you actually just missing your shots? All right, get into the firing range. Maybe you just didn't warm up and your aim is off, or maybe you just need to put some reps in with some weapons. Don't hesitate, guys, to really hop into the firing range and just pick up a variety of guns and just practice taking down the dummies. So if you do have a friend that's looking to improve, then get some quality 1v1s in, putting a focus on hitting your shots while still keeping up your movement. On the flip side, all right, you can feel like you're hitting shots, but still losing fights. A lot of the time, this is due to how you are taking your fights. Are you over peaking and getting team shot by enemy squads? Maybe you got a crack on somebody and just got excited and over pushed. Look, we've all gotten that down on somebody just to get wrecked by their team. It's easy to blame this on our team not helping or just getting frustrated at the game, right? I get it. But the way you take a gunfight is just as important as you hitting your shots, and it's really good to make sure that you have as much info as possible before you decide to put yourself in danger for a knock. Having a calm head and taking in all the info around you is going to have you making way better decisions on when to push or pick a fight, and it's going to set you up for success regardless of your skill level. So there is obviously more to winning gunfights than we've discussed so far, but what's important, guys, is to approach your fights calmly. Make as good of decisions as possible, then reflect on those decisions. You know, being able to confidently say that you made a bad play and improve is just so much better than just ignoring it and just hopping into the next game. So taking the time to look back in your gunfight, identify your weaknesses, and just work on them is going to have you winning more fights in no time. Okay, so while that may not be as flashy as winning gunfights, good rotations wins games, alright? Having good positioning on the map does wonders for keeping your squad alive, and at the core of this is good rotations. Having a successful drop into a good rotation is the foundation for a good game, and this positioning and timing will set you up for the rest of the match. Having a good game plan and just making good map movement with the ring position, enemy positions, and your squad strength all in mind, man, is arguably more important than ever hitting a shot. It's easy to get hyper-focused on loot, making map movements with this being your driving factor. So what's important to realize is that loot will come, and that your positioning on the map is far more important. Rarely will you loot more than one POI and feel like you truly have a bad loadout. With this in mind, guys, look to set yourself up well for future fights. Make good positioning for ring your priority, and the loot's gonna come. If you do this, you're gonna beat other squads to key areas of the map where they will need to rotate for the ring, and you are gonna be in a much more better situation to win fights. You'd be surprised about how many of our deaths in games are caused by poor rotations, leaving us in bad positions. And so consider this when analyzing your losses, and I guarantee they're gonna start turning into wins. So just as important as your own positioning is the positioning of your team. Even in solo queue, guys, like having your team nearby at all times is huge in finding wins. Look, I know you guys are capable of winning a 1v3, but that's just not a realistic planning game. So making a valid effort to track your teammates' locations and keep within line of sight of each other as much as possible is going to have your squad coming out on top much more often. Team shotting is the best way to down someone fast, and this goes for you and your enemies. If you get caught out without your team nearby, most teams are going to instantly push you, quickly just taking you out with sheer numbers. Even if your squad isn't doing very well, their presence alone is often enough to deter enemy pushings and keep you from getting focused. And on the flip side, if one of your teammates comes across an enemy out of position, you want to ensure that you are close enough to help in taking them down. So being able to get some surprise team shots on someone does wonders in helping your kill participation, and it's always in your best interest to keep your teammates alive if you can help it. So having good team play, guys, is something that you have to work on, and getting good at monitoring their health, weapons, and position, and it's definitely going to help you make good decisions around them. Alright, so did one of your teammates get cracked? Well, make sure that you're in a position to lay down some fire and call out an enemy push if you see it. Likewise, if your teammate is cracked, like you don't choose that timing to push anybody. I mean, you can't expect to get any help from someone hiding and popping a battery, and if you go to make a play when that is clearly happening, you better make sure that you can win that gunfight. So the next time you get down, take an honest look at the situation, alright? Did you overpush? Were you too far from your team? If both your other squad mates are together and you are the solo, you need to be honest with yourself and improve your awareness in regards to your teammates. Speaking of awareness, if there's one constant theme to this video, this would be it. Every single one of your decisions is made with the info you've gathered, and the more aware that you are, the more info you're gonna gather. This applies to every aspect of the game that we've discussed, but it goes one step further, right? Because just taking in the info isn't enough. You've got to know what to do with it. And so this is where all this comes together. If you break down your game, micro-analyzing each fight and interaction, you're gonna learn the nuances of the game and the weaknesses that you have as a player. And so doing this is gonna grow your game knowledge and how you implement that knowledge. Then, as you put more and more reps in, you're gonna gradually become a better and better player. So this focus on your mentality towards the game is just the key to improving, and all the mechanics in the world will make up for struggling in these categories. But if you study up and you come into every day with the learner's mindset, I'm telling you right now, you put those reps in, you're gonna be excelling faster than ever before. Alright guys, so that's gonna be it for today's video. If you implement the mindsets that we discussed today, you're gonna be improving in no time. So while we touched on some key examples that you can analyze about your game, there are an infinite number of situations that can happen in Apex, and practicing analyzing as many as you can to help yourself improve is key. Let us know down in the comments what you've been trying to improve about your game. Hey listen, if you guys liked the video, hope you guys subscribe to the channel and make sure you connect with me on my Instagram at Your Motivation Guy. Hey, I've had a blast today. Keep grinding, never quit, never surrender. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.